What's up, G-Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G-Show Podcast. I am G1. Actually, this is an impromptu G-Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is what we would do with Jurassic World. That's right. It's a fun, silly video we're putting together, going live right now. Me and who else? None other than my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G-Show. G73, a.k.a. Megzy, a.k.a. my brother Chase, what? The D-Rex should have died. What?
Yeah, there you go, Gams. That's for you, buddy.
Welcome, brother. Welcome. I'm glad we get to do this one.
Yeah, it's nothing. I can figure anything else, there could be worse ways to spend your Wednesdays.
Indeed. Well, look, like the title suggests, this is just us having fun with, if we had creative control of the Jurassic World universe going forward, what we would do with it. Because I've got some ideas. And don't get it twisted. Friday, we're going to break down Jurassic World Rebirth. We're going to do a complete spoiler review. And we're probably going to say the same exact thing, but with more people. Absolutely. The regulars on the G Show, but that's the Friday live stream. That's the Geek Out. This is just fun times. So, Jurassic World opens, right? Jurassic World Rebirth. Gareth Edwards comes back, does his thing, brings the dinosaurs back to light, and bam! Movie finishes, and I'm stuck here saying, where do we go from here? If y'all watched last week's episode, I was in the minority. I was disappointed with this movie. Didn't hate it, but disappointed. I thought it lacked something. I don't know what it was, but I just wasn't feeling it. I hated the character.
I needed some more time in the incubation pods. Something,
bro. I needed more raptors, I'm guessing. But the only thing I hated was the characters. Everything else I didn't hate. I found it dull and all of the in-betweens. But what bothered me the most was trying to figure out where they go from here after this movie ended, because the movie, it claims that basically all the dinosaurs have migrated to like the equator. That's the only place they can, sustain. And, it seems like, local military forces or government forces around the area have it kind of tied down, locked off, blocked off. You can't go here. And if you go here, well, too bad for you. We're not coming to get you, right? Because they know that's where the dinosaurs are. And we don't want nothing with that. So movie ends, and I sit there and I go, yeah, where do you go from here? What do you do? And then I started having some crazy random thoughts, and that's where it's going to get fun in a little bit. But I come home, and Brother Chase throws up in our group chat, I've got this crazy ass idea for the next Jurassic movie. And I'm like, funny you should say that. I've got two. I'm saving for Friday. And then what did you write? Does it involve what, Chase?
Does it involve mechs fighting a pack of raptors?
And I wrote, well, actually. And then bam, the impromptu comes alive because of that.
Yeah, we're both bored enough. Let's go.
I ain't doing nothing but collecting UFOs and my thoughts on Superman that I saw yesterday. Yeah. Thank you, Amazon, for the advanced screening. But that's all Friday. So yeah, dude, we seen the movie, right? You liked it a lot more than I did.
That's right, I did.
Where would you take this franchise going forward?
Well, let me just say, although my thoughts haven't necessarily changed drastically, I'm still feeling like I sit with you guys that are feeling like this movie needed more, because I definitely still feel that way. I didn't hate it, but I felt like it was a test for Gareth Edwards to see what he can do. And it's not that I don't think he can't handle it. I just think he needed more. And maybe that's all due with that $180 million budget they got. But I'm glad it's doing well, because I'd like to see where it goes. And maybe I get a chance when I'm a movie director to finally write one into the franchise. But man, oh man, dude, I have been thinking about, since I saw the movie, where do we go from here? Because I know Frank Marshall, he's part of the crew. He's been on since the first movie. handles production qualities and stuff and affairs. He's been saying this is a start of a new saga, a new era. Well, how the hell do you make another trilogy out of what we just saw? Now,
Exactly.
Gareth Edwards says that he thinks this film could just go as a standalone, but he also said that he does want to go back and think about what can happen next. So, boy, oh boy, what do we do? Because, for one, they totally unnecessarily, they didn't need to do this, but they totally changed things that Jurassic World established that they didn't need to, such as the dinosaurs migrating. So it's like, what would we do? Because the main problem I see with Jurassic is you have to have a plot that revolves around people either being on the island by accident, being forced on the island on purpose, or it's like, well, then what are we doing? There has to be a point to get them on the islands, since now we're going back to the islands. And I was just been thinking about this for days. Where do we go? And my thought is it got me thinking back to what I did like about what Colin Trevorrow did. And although those movies were also disappointing, aside from the first one, I really liked Jurassic World 2015. I thought that was fine. Aside from the Marvel-esque dinosaurs fighting, I don't mind dinosaur fights, but don't make it cheesy like that. I love Rexy, but in all honesty, Rexy should have died at that point. But I could say the other way around. You have a very aggressive territorial animal, could have just blown right through that hybrid too. Lockjaw stuff, it's we can get in the science of it for days. But anyways, that's not where I'm going. The point is, Colin Trevorrow, in my opinion, had a really good vision, and he did in a way honor Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3 with continuing that legacy. It's just what happened after was he dropped the egg and it cracked. The dinosaur egg he was about to deliver and incubate and hatch us, it just fell to the floor and it got yellow egg yolk on it, and it just was a fumbled egg, and it was just disappointing. So I'm sitting here thinking about, like, okay, well then what did I do like about Trevorrow? And I did like that he at least, I felt like he at least knew how to. I personally liked Claire Dearing. I thought she was a good character. Bryce Dallas Howard's character. I think Owen Grady, Chris Pratt's character, could have been written a little bit better and done a little bit better, but Chris Pratt's kind of losing his stardom right now, so I don't know if it would involve him. But anyways, I really like Claire Dearing, and I kind of like consistency with movies going forward, which, Monsterverse, hello. But with Jurassic World, I was thinking, okay, let's say I got the chance to finally write a movie. What would I do? And if it was in the Jurassic World premise, I was thinking, what if essentially, let's just say this. Time has passed. I had two ideas, but the one I really, really liked was, let's say time has passed, and there is the topic of poaching the dinosaurs. These billion-dollar corporations are like, okay, let's go to the island that's left for rebirth, St. Hubert. And since the dinosaurs are just basically minimal now, let's poach them, and we're going to make our own game reserve to where we can populate our game reserve with these animals, and we're going to have the highest bidders come and hunt the animals. I don't think we've really seen that yet, and I thought that would be a really cool idea, along with getting Claire Deering and Owen Grady involved again, where Owen Grady is the man that knows the dinosaurs. He knows their territories. He knows how they work. He knows how they act. I would really love to see that they, like, let's say he goes missing. Owen Grady goes missing, aka they kidnap him and use him by force to navigate through the island in the jungle to dodge all the animals on the island. And the point is they're marking the animals for which ones they want to poach for their island. And I'm like, okay, well then how else would that go? Well, let's say Owen's been missing for a while and Claire's looking for him. And that way you could have a story of an arc with her trying to go and find him and he trying to navigate the island. And then they eventually meet up together and then have to survive on the island again together. That's just a minimal plot point. But I like that idea. The in-between is these billion-dollar corporations using tools to capture these dinosaurs. And I was thinking back to the old Kenner lines and the old, like, toys where you see these big old beefy trucks and high-tech weaponry and stuff. And I'm like, dude, how cool would it fucking be if one of these poachers got into like a mech to like wrangle a dinosaur, but a pack of raptors attacked it? And I'm like, well, fuck, I don't really like Avatar, but I like the things like the premises inside of mechs and the Navi and stuff. I like that idea, but what if that was dinosaurs? I thought that would be really cool. So my thought was like, okay, well then how do we do this? The whole point of the first movie is they go to this island to poach the island. Then with that, it can segue into a second movie where, let's say the billion-dollar people, the corporations, they won. They got what they wanted, and now it introduces dinosaurs back onto, let's say, a mainland, or let's say they put them, Isla Nublar, although said to be, a island damaged by volcanic activity. That's not always going to be the case. That's free real estate. What if we put the dinosaurs back on that island? So then you reincorporate Isla Nublar and get those fans back that miss that island, because I sure do. And then, we change it back into basically just healing the franchise one by one. And then, or you can make the game preserve in the States, where it turns into this focus of we're trying to convey the opposition of animal poaching. And we're trying to make people more interested in dinosaurs again, because apparently in Rebirth, everyone's kind of done with the dinosaurs. They don't care anymore. I find that hard to believe after 5 years. But I was thinking, I think it would be cool to just see like something like that, aside from like the mini story picks to drive the story along. But I was thinking, raptors fighting mechs would be so cool. And then like a group of people in a giant truck trying to trap a T-Rex, but the T-Rex is hunting them and, massacre, people dying. I think it could be a way where you can establish that it is what it is. It's Jurassic World. It is a blockbuster of dinosaurs and people. Make it fun. But the fun thing about it is they don't know about the D-Rex. They do not know about King Kong Rex. And this thing pops up and scares a shit out of them and proposes a big, like, what the hell is this? And also, with it basically being the island for Jurassic World, what if Claire does know about it and keeps it withheld?
That's a good point, because she's in the know.
Right. She might know the itinerary of what's on the, and maybe that changes to where they take her to the island too. Like she knows what to. Well, nah, I don't know if I'd like that because then she could spoil it. But maybe that's why she goes after Owen Grady's. Like I know what's on that island. I need to fucking get him. And maybe there's a creature even worse than the D-Rex that we didn't know because we don't know what really all they've been making on that island.
Like what if we T-Rex?
Yeah, or give us like a velociraptor that can cloak itself like Predator and can see heat. So it's like you're fucked no matter what. I think that would be cool. I just think that would be a really, really cool premise to where we could make this franchise where it's at go forward and maybe fix the things that have been retconned that we shouldn't have had retconned. And I don't know. I just got really excited about that idea of like poachers and fighting for survival and animals. I think that would be absolutely great. The whole point is just trying to get them back on the island, and then everything else is just sprinkled in as dinosaur flavor and love. And yeah, that's just where I thought would be really fucking cool to see.
I like that idea with the raptors being cloaked because here's the deal. Maybe they were there the whole time in Rebirth, but they were cloaked, right? And that would have been like for Jurassic World 1, how the Indominus Rex came to be, where it was able to camouflage.
Right. What's to say they didn't experiment on smaller dinosaurs first to make sure it was successful?
Exactly. I like that idea.
And I would add something new. One thing I liked about Rebirth was even though I liked the Raptors, I liked seeing something new. But you know what? How about you go there and give us something crazy like Titan Boa or something? Give us something that's like, we're already there with animal experimentation. Give us something that's different. I mean, still have the dinosaurs, but I think it's okay to throw in something like we haven't seen before,
like a carnivorous brontosaurus.
Dude, right? Yeah, give us something, or give us, or just go ahead and give us four-legged carnivores. They're real. Give us something.
Herbivore, Lex. Herbivore.
That would be really funny. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. It's not going to eat you, and then they're like talking shit to it, and then it just fucking bites his head off. I just thought that would be a really fucking cool premise. And I don't know. It's like, I've been sitting on these ideas for days since I saw Rebirth, and I was just like, what makes sense for it to go? And
yeah.
Maybe it's not as hard as I thought, but it's just if everybody sees eye to eye in the writing room, I suppose. But that was one of my ideas. I mean, I'll let you go, but I had another idea that was quick to the point. But I want to hear some of your thoughts too.
Yeah, definitely, I want to get into some more because it's always fun with speculation. How many impromptu Godzilla fucking block parties have we did on pure speculation?
Oh God, more than I can count.
And this is not even speculation. I think that's the wrong word. This is just like what we would do,
Right.
Give us the reins, damn it. So I had a couple. I had a more grounded one, and then I got the extreme dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
Planet of the Apes.
I think both of us can agree to what the franchise needs is more dinosaurs.
Not necessarily like more dinosaurs, just dinosaurs doing dinosaur things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Rebirth had so many dinosaurs in it, but it just wasn't utilized in a satisfying way. Other than the river raft scene, I really didn't really feel, and I love the Mosasaurus scene, but other than that, it just needed some more.
And I think that was the one thing that bothered me a lot in the movie is like, even with trying to avoid things like, I was getting pissed off at like Instagram or YouTube. Every time I turn on a video or scroll through a reel, they're showing a T-Rex rolling over. And I'm like, I know there, but I don't want to see that until the theater because for whatever reason, I love that part in the original novel. I wanted to see
Me too. And I got mad. I got mad when the trailer started showing the Aqualops, Dolores.
Oh
I
yeah.
was like, okay, I mean, I don't really care for like cutesy comic relief stuff, but like any details in the movie, I just think the trailers just really blew it.
I agree. All right. I will say going forward, what the one thing I would do right off the bat, I'd get rid of the family friendly shit. No more children. Get out of here because they should be eaten. Hands down, the dinosaurs should be able to eat a kid. I'm just saying, every
Well, the good thing is my movie wouldn't have any kids in it.
exactly. I mean, like completely get rid of them, right? Every single movie, the kids are. Yeah, I just don't understand how they're not stupid traumatized. You know, I would have wished that somewhere in the Jurassic World saga there was like a book published by one of the kids from Jurassic Park 1 where it was like my traumatizing experience with a T-Rex or on Jurassic Park. You know, because
Well, you know what's funny is for Jurassic World, it was either Fallen Kingdom or the third movie. They had the little kid that played the littlest kid, the little brother, and they had an interview with him, like in canon, of
oh,
like him as his character talking about the dinosaurs in the island, and it has him totally freaking out, like, what? No, 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 and he's like freaking losing his shit.
oh, that's awesome. Real quick,
He's like, what? It's like, what do you think about the dinosaurs like living, letting them live? And he's like, no, let them die. No, he's really against dinosaurs.
I gotta see that. Goji Guild says hello. Hello, Goji Guild. How are you?
Hello, Goji.
We're just here having a good time here again. We're just what we would do with Jurassic Park going forward. All right. So, like I said, I got two premises. One where it's kind of grounded, a little bit more on the horrific side, and one where I just go straight extreme, like legit, throw everything out the fucking window and let's go. All right. I'll do the grounded one first, and I'll preface this by saying I like to listen to like audiobooks or podcasts to go to sleep. Right, it helps me go to sleep. So I'll go. I found this one Jurassic Park horror. It was about 6 hours. I passed out within like the first 12 minutes, I'll be honest. But I remember the first, 12 minutes, let's say, was really creepy. It was a family living in a house. This was in or around the time set in like Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, right? Storming outside, family sleep. They just put their newborn baby to bed. Family sleeping. The mother hears crying. She gets up to go check. She's, on the carpet. She, it's late at night. She goes into the room. Her feet are wet. Why are her feet wet? What's going on? Then the baby stops crying. Lightning flashes, and she sees like a flash of something on the crib.
That sounds very similar to the actual novel, though.
Oh, so all right, maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Right?
Again, yeah, because if you're going with the baby getting eaten, that's in the book.
So look at that. And it's kind of crazy, right? Like I like that, the horrific part of it. So my first take, my grounded take would be, again, no kids. We know that they're on the equator, and that's pretty much where they're at, right? They can't just be relegated to an island. And for me personally, I don't think that makes all the sense in the world, because outside of did like all the dinosaurs die out that was in America when they brought the dinosaurs over? We saw the Brachiosaurus underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. By the way, it escaped from the Cobble Hill Zoo.
Now, before anyone gets mad, it wasn't a Apatosaurus. Just saving you from being lynched.
That's all good. The Apatosaurus, I figured it wasn't a Brachiosaurus.
Or was it Diplodocus? But either way.
Which escaped from the Cobble Hill Zoo, which everybody knows that's a lie. There is no zoo in Cobble Hill. Okay? There's no zoo in Cobble Hill. How do I know that? I went to middle school there, right? There's no zoo in Cobble Hill, Brooklyn. End of story. And I don't care if you want to say maybe in the future. I don't care. Anyhow, it's around the equator. Let's use like the African Serengeti or something, right? Very climate to the equator. If not, it's on the equator. Something in that regard, right? And I like your poacher's idea. What if we have that? All right. Or the way I'm looking at it is all of a sudden villages just start to go quiet. Tribes completely disappear. What's going on? The dinosaurs are eating them. The dinosaurs are eating them, and now we got to go and stop the dinosaurs. Now we have to stop the dinosaurs. They're no longer, it's not about people going to their territory. It's about them now creeping onto people's territory and eating them. And
proliferating out of control.
Legit. And what gives me the inspiration from that is this old movie from the 60s, Jamie. This movie from the 90s, 1996, The Ghost in the Darkness, where the lions were doing just that in the Serengeti. There was like this one lion that was just killing people at night, and they could not stop it. And it turned out to be like this giant alpha, male. And I like that idea with dinosaurs. Now, I wouldn't obviously do a T-Rex, too big. The raptors, yeah, I know they say they're overdone, but it's perfect. It works perfect. If there was ever a best shot in any Jurassic Park movie, it's Jurassic Park 2 with the raptors in the tall grass.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love it. And that's the horrific nature I miss from Jurassic World. I know they tried to do that somewhat with the second half of Fallen Kingdom, but that movie was a wreck from the start. Yeah,
I was really hoping Rebirth was going to go there, and you could see they were trying, but again, it was really held back.
I was not scared once in Rebirth. Not once. I did get one jump scare. One did get me, I won't lie, and that was the sleeping T-Rex scene when she goes into the shed.
I'm mean more in the line of tone, though. That's what's been missing is like this horrific tone.
Exactly. I want to be creeped out. I want to feel the tension. They're dinosaurs. And I think Garrett did a really good job with the tension in that scene, her pulling the raft on the dock. Scared as shit. I loved it. But at the same time, I was just kind of like, this girl should have been dead a long time ago. Her boyfriend should have been dead a long time ago. Everybody should have been dead a long time ago. So I was already out of the movie. But I would like seriously want a very grounded, scary creature that lurks in the dark type of movie, but Jurassic Park. Because then you bring back the absolute horrific nature of dinosaurs. This terrifying aspect of them that, we can't really do anything unless we're armed or in mechs. You know what I'm saying? Or in a mech.
Yeah. Well, also, not to mention that these dinosaurs now that are actually living and breathing and laying eggs, evolution doesn't stop.
Yep.
Evolution keeps continuing, and even what happens when you genetically modify an animal that can start being part of evolution and Mother Nature? What type of dinosaurs does that stem from afterwards? Like, what if a dinosaur breeds and then the worst things it hatches worse things? I mean, yeah. I like where your head's at with that.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Because last week on the podcast when I asked that question, what do you do? Where do you go? And it's like, you go back to the island. But for what? Why?
That's the hardest part is how and exactly. Why.
That's why I like the idea of you don't go to them, they start coming back to you. Then you realize, we all fucked, we can't contain it.
And that's the one thing that sucks about Rebirth is because they already established in the trilogy before it that the dinosaurs wouldn't have that effect with the climate. And then retconning that feels really, really kind of like scratch board, scratch disc on the... You know what's
crazy though? they kind of contradict that in Rebirth. In
that's what I mean.
the Mosasaur was out past where it should have been.
Yeah, that's true too.
So
And
right
then
there, that gives you the open door to all
but
right.
I'm still wondering how okay, well, we can't go there, but at the end of that movie, how are they not gonna die?
Friday, when we go straight spoilers and do everything.
Yeah. But no, I always think about what is the hardest part about Jurassic movies? Because, like, on paper, you think everything should be easy. It's dinosaurs entertaining you. But the main point is premise and plot. And that's what's hard with Jurassic, is how do we place people in these scenarios that makes sense or makes people not roll their eyes?
Exactly. And that's my problem. I rolled my eyes one too many times before the dinosaurs actually started to show up in Rebirth, and I was already out of the movie. And it did bother me. I can't lie. I was like, I really I wanted to enjoy that. It's Cousin Gareth. But I just
absolutely. And but that's my whole point too, is like, okay, I was on board with the plot point of what it was. Okay, I was like, all right, that's simple. Let's get them on the island. But then it just didn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, okay, well, and then also you have this bigger plot point with the Diabolus Rex, and that doesn't go anywhere, have any resolution or any explanation. And that's what I don't like, the loose ends.
Yeah. See, at least with Indominus Rex, they gave you an explanation.
Which, by the way, was originally going to be called the D-Rex before they changed it.
I'm glad. Look, I hated Doofosaurus Rex. I absolutely hated it. Like, it pissed me off because it did nothing, right? Like, it really did nothing, and it looks dumb. And I'm glad it was a reject left to this island. But I mean, like, come on, Cousin Gareth, you got a lot more talent than that. It looks like a Frank Cormuto thing.
I think it wouldn't look as dumb if there was an explanation. Because we don't even know what it was made out of. But my thing was exactly how, because it was mishandled, I'm kind of just like, okay, you just have this really funky looking special needs dinosaur mutation on the island, and it's just unfortunate. It doesn't. And like Gareth was talking about how, like, I want you to feel sorry for this animal, and I'm like, well, I do feel sorry for it because it has no point of being in the movie.
Yeah, there's no sympathy for none of these creatures in this movie. Zero.
Yeah, and that's where I'm just kind of like, okay, who dropped the ball there? Why did they not follow through with their, like, I usually think the Jurassic movies at least have a consistent plot point, regardless of how silly they usually are. But, like, this was kind of like we just forgot about our movie in a way.
You know what? I'm going to hold it till Friday. But let me tell you something. No, fuck it. I'll say it now. I'm going to say it again Friday. This movie was a remake of Jurassic Park 3.
Movie, and with bits of 2.
Not even. They paid homage to the first one, right? There were some homage moments, but this movie was a straight up remake of Jurassic Park 3.
Well, the part with the gas station was supposed to reminisce the second movie. They said like that was taken in homage for Jurassic Park 2.
That's such a deep dive because it does nothing. It's just
absolutely, and that's the whole point that I'm frustrated too.
Yeah, it's just
I'm not necessarily agreeing with it.
Like the first Jurassic World, when they find the fucking Jurassic Park Jeeps.
Yeah.
Oh, that's listening. You're like, oh, that's awesome. Look, this is crazy. Right? Like, I love that. When they're in the fucking the balls, driving around the park, and then the Indominus is trying to break it down. It evokes the same feeling of Jurassic Park 1 when the T-Rex is, pouncing on the Jeep. It works.
Right.
Nothing here. You know what was here? One thing, and again, Jurassic Park 3, a dead body hanging out of a tree. Come on, man. Come on, man. But
I would have liked to have known that backstory. You know?
Right. And again, you know me.
That's why I called it Jurassic World Romulus. I wanted to see the movie that was before what we got.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm giving this movie way more credit to Romulus. I hated Romulus.
That's. I mean, I'm happy and I feel honored that you're doing that because I love Jurassic. But like, wow, I'm surprised.
I fucking hated Romulus because the movie was right there in the first 5 minutes. There's your movie, and then now you went. I mean, get the fuck out of here. But the only thing that's close to Romulus is the alien-looking Doofosaurus Rex. That's it. That's it. But yeah, nah, dude. Like seriously, it's very hard the way this movie ended to set up something new. So you really have to like cut corners, take chances, or pull upon tiny minuscule threads that will go right over people's heads.
Or for now on, the movies just become one shots and they're just different stories in the world. But even then, that's going to get hard and thin. What I thought would work with Jurassic is you make it into. I'm not going into my idea. I'm just saying, like, on what you're saying, I was thinking TV shows.
No. Listen, no, you're onto something. No, honestly, I didn't even think about that. You're onto something.
Yeah, I was.
Series, not even TV. I would totally make Jurassic Park anthology movies.
Yes, exactly. I would make it like, yeah, exactly. You know, and that way you could do stuff in between the movies that we already have. Yeah. And it can make sense of different things and stuff. And, you know, I think that's what works. That could work also best.
I mean, look, Ian Malcolm said it in the first movie. Life finds a way. So if life can find a way, then we can find a way to get out of the shoehorn that Universal and Cousin Gareth put us in with this movie. And again, one of those threads being the Mosasaurus wasn't where it's supposed to be. It was out further. Why? That's a great question. Let's figure it out. Because if he could do it, or she could do it, or that can do it, then why can't these other ones do it?
Yeah, and then it's like, you know, you have other animals that can swim. You have other animals that can fly. You know, weather changes regardless of the equator. You're going to have animals migrating. But the thing is I find it very hard to believe, and I'm sure they also explain this. These aren't all the dinosaurs left on this island. There's a bunch of island change still. There's still dinosaurs in the hotter part of the Earth equator area, if you will. And I just think that already was kind of debunked in the beginning trilogy, and I don't like that idea because it just doesn't make sense, especially if these are genetically modified animals that they aren't realistic dinosaurs. They're not real. They would probably have genomes and traits and abilities to adapt that they wouldn't need to worry about certain circumstances. But yet again, I don't know. I just think there's a way to go back and retcon that because I don't like that idea at all.
Dinosaurs in the Arctic, they're full of feathers. You know what I'm saying?
And they've discovered that there were dinosaurs in the Arctic. And, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing The Thing, but Jurassic World.
Yes, dude. What? Come on.
Get fucking Kurt Russell in it. Let's do it.
Kurt Russell's too busy with Godzilla right now.
Yeah, he's in Monarch.
he better show up in
But the other idea I had that was a little bit more simpler was if we really wanted to kind of like correct everything, it's kind of a little, you know, maybe cheesy in a way. It's not my favorite idea, but I was thinking, okay, let's if you want to bring back Isla Nublar in another way, what's to say that InGen or whoever's in charge of overseeing these dinosaurs right now, just they start making dinosaurs again for other exploitations, but they don't tell people about Isla Nublar being the island that they're just using to put them back on. And you get a bunch of people that go to explore the park just for like, hey, we can explore the park. Nothing's going to happen. There's no dinosaurs there. Uh-oh. And they go and see the ruins, and all of a sudden bad shit starts happening, and then there's a survival story within being on the first park again with Isla Nublar and dinosaurs and creatures. And I mean, it's a more simpler idea, but if you wanted to like correct bringing that island back, I think that could be interesting and fun.
You're onto something. The only way this works is it's got to be about a bunch of social media influencers.
Yes, which and
they can all get eaten.
I was going to say that's Camp Cretaceous, but only one of them's a social media influencer. But still, let's have a bunch of college kids and have them get eaten. I wouldn't mind that.
Like, dude, like making a slasher movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's ways you can make Jurassic still work to where it can be a movie you want to bring your family to, but it doesn't have to revolve around kids being protected and, plot armor.
That damn Pedro Pascal stunt double and his... Yeah. I wasn't mad at little young Dora the Explorer. I was not mad at her. She was the only one I wasn't mad at in the entire movie. I was just like, little girl, you shouldn't be in this movie. Because you should have been eaten by that T-Rex. But I digress.
That T-Rex should have ripped through that raft. Yeah. But then again, too, I was like, well, what if they go the way of if instead of repopulating the island as, using their methods, maybe just dinosaurs survived after the volcano. I find it hard to imagine that volcano ruins the whole island.
So, all right, that's my question, because you're way more steeped in the Jurassic lore than I am. I don't watch those movies religiously like you, right? So, my question is the islands themselves, that island chain, right? The original park was on which island?
The original park, so in lore, the park, the island that we're on in the second movie, Isla Sorna, that's like the park that started with genetically engineering the dinosaurs. And then Isla Nublar, which is what's in Jurassic Park, that's where they start like bringing them out into the wild and letting them see how they survive and therefore the park attractions.
So Jurassic Park, the actual theme park, is on Nublar.
Yes.
And Sorna is where they were, I guess.
I'll let you finish.
No, I know. Go ahead. I was going to say.
Isla Sorna was the island where we build our dinosaurs, and that's the islands you see in Jurassic Park 2 and 3.
Okay, so 2 and 3 is on Sorna. All right. Okay.
Yeah, and if you want the whole Cinco Muertes or island, it's the island chain. There's 5 islands. I can't remember what they are. St. Hubert was totally not canon. It was just pulled out of an ass. But there are 5 islands technically.
Okay, so all right. So let's do the establishment. Sorna is where Hammond was creating the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Nublar is where he created the theme park for those dinosaurs.
Yep.
Sorna, they went back to in Lost World and Jurassic Park 3.
Yep.
Nublar is where they created Jurassic World theme park.
Yep.
San Diego is where they had Jurassic Park US.
Yep.
Just making sure. Trick question. Okay. So Nublar is where they had Jurassic World, right? Theme park. over the original Jurassic Park, or off to the side of the original Jurassic Park. So Nublar is the one that got destroyed in Fallen Kingdom.
Yes.
Oh, right. And then Dominion took place on fucking American land. So, okay.
Well, the Swiss Alps, right? It's like,
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, Biosyn is completely Biosyn's completely different. But again, that was a very big habitat for animals too. Why not try to go back there somehow? But there's a lot of turmoil with that.
But here's my question: why do we need to go to Isla Nublar? It's gone. If Sorna's still around, just go. The dinosaurs are still there.
Right. Well. So like, then that goes into the stuff with like, it never really was explained necessarily in the movies, but in like, if you were on the Jurassic World website when Jurassic World was coming out, there was a big like, Colin Trevorrow hired a bunch of Jurassic Park fans to write like how we evolve this world, and they wrote that after Isla Nublar, after Jurassic Park faltered, they took all the dinosaurs from Isla Sorna and put them back on Nublar. So Isla Sorna is vacant and barren, which again, that could also open a plot point of, well, what if they missed a few eggs? You know,
that's where the dinosaurs migrated back to for this.
That's a lot of water they have to cross, though. But
okay, you know what? That's true. But okay, but how did the dinosaurs migrate to the fucking equator in the first place? They never.
That's exactly what I'm trying to figure out too. How the fuck did that and that's the thing that I don't understand is like, there's no way. Like, okay, they established that T-Rex could swim, but not for long distances.
Yeah, there's no way T-Rex makes it from
America. Yeah, that's the whole point about that plot, was just totally terrible. And so yeah, it's like, how do and that's why it feels like Rebirth has so many loose ends, and it felt like, okay, we're just going to see what Gareth Edwards can do. And I think what they were trying to do was see, what's our audience still like after Dominion? I really feel like, even though like I didn't hate Rebirth, I do feel like it was a cash grab, and I think it was a test movie. I think they wanted to see where the audience stands, where the franchise stands, where they feel like what they can do.
You know what? You're 1000% correct. And here's and this is where I'm going to give credit to this movie. The fans came out, $320 million worldwide. Granted, it was a 5-day total, right? 5-day total. So I don't want to hear shit this weekend about Superman didn't break that. Superman's out for 3 days, not 5. So it's a big difference. Plus, you had the fucking holiday weekend with. So anyway, I digress. I think it was, and you said this last week, I think it was the fact that they went back to the island, or an island, and it was an island adventure as opposed to being on the mainland. Now, here's the deal. The crazy shit is, I really like the idea of them being on the mainland.
I do too.
Yeah, I want to see dinosaurs in Yosemite. You know what I'm saying? I want to see.
I really want to see let's see. I want to see a small town struggle with the dinosaurs coming. Like do like a movie in between Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion, where the dinosaurs first come out and they're going into the wild, and a small town starts getting terrorized by dinosaurs. Like, what the hell are these things? You know, like a small town, and like North America, California. You know, do something like that. Show us a town being invaded by dinosaurs and eviscerated, and they have to figure out what's going on, or the struggle or something. You know?
Oh my God, that kind of sounds like my plot point to where I would take this franchise.
I think the dinosaurs on the mainland was a really cool idea. And Now, I know people didn't really like Dominion, but honestly, my favorite part at the end was seeing the dinosaurs coexist with the animals. I know it was sappy and whatever, but I liked that idea. I really did.
What? No, you're absolutely right. That was such a great idea because that's how it, bro. All right. One of the things about Superman, whether I liked it or not, that I was like, that's pretty cool. There's a scene where like Crypto and all of its fucking crazy dog, super dog shit is like interacting with a cow. And I was like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it was cool. So what you're saying, yes, that part of Dominion, I love that. And you know what? That remote town and shit, there's so much of America that is uninhabited, right? That small towns are in. Like, you could go to Wyoming, you could go to a Dakota, north or south, probably south, right? But could you imagine like fucking dinosaurs on the fucking what do they call it? The monument, the fucking president's. Oh my god,
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Come on. We're gonna probably
like a fucking like a pterodactyl laying a nest in one of the noses or ear.
Exactly, man. So I mean, like, you know, killing dinosaurs off with a disease a la War of the Worlds, to me never made sense. It never made sense because then you could get all the horror stories. Then you would have to fucking quarantine zone. You know what I mean? Because
right.
And then how do you do it? You put up electric fences, and the next thing you know, it's like Godzilla 54 all over again. And I'm okay with that.
And as someone brought up a friend of mine was talking to me about it yesterday, and she said, I would really like to see how humanity adapted to the dinosaurs. And she's like, what if like they put up their own electric fences to keep dinosaurs out? That would be a cool idea.
Yeah, like how do you keep a dinosaur out of a major metropolitan area?
Right.
It's those questions, and they show it in the first 5 minutes of this movie. You don't.
You don't.
It's just, the Diplodocus just walked the fuck out and said, I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to go sit in the shade under the Brooklyn Bridge. Get out of here with that bullshit. By the way, Cobble Hill to the Brooklyn Bridge, if it's a Diplodocus, depending on the size, it would take about 15 minutes to get from Cobble Hill to Dumbo under the Brooklyn Bridge for an Apatosaurus. Just saying. Yeah, that's right. Brooklyn boy right here, baby. I used to walk it. You go to Brooklyn Heights, Brooklyn Bridge right up the block. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it might take longer. Those things are slow.
Well, if they're that fucking slow, why don't the police come and put a bullet in his nose?
Because it's nature and we're not allowed to euthanize the dinosaurs.
I think when something causes a public disturbance, like a fucking 60-ton dinosaur, all bets are off. Well, so that was your I really do like. Listen, I like both the ideas, but I really like the second idea, going back to an island. My beef is I would not do Nublar. It's gone. That's why fucking Fallen Kingdom sucks. But it's
right. Gone. Then I would do Sorna.
Yeah, I would totally do Sorna. It's there. It's part of canon. But I love the idea of like social media influencers going there talking about can't be here, but we gonna be here anyway, right? It's kind of, and it pulls from reality. It pulls from reality. You got those people climbing like the steps of ancient Aztec temples or the Pyramid of Giza. You're not supposed to be climbing up that stupid, but people think they're entitled because they got a fucking camera phone.
Yeah,
to do it for clicks and views, bro. Death to them by dinosaurs.
Dude, I can see the opening for that trailer now. Like a girl on her phone saying, "Hey, it's so and so. Press the like and subscribe. Just showing there's no dinosaurs here. Here we are chilling on Isla Sorna." And then all of a sudden, she's like making jokes and talking shit or something, and then you see just yellow eyes glowing from a tree. and then it cuts. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that would be so rad. I fucking love that, dude.
Real quick, my sib from another crib, Gam Gam says, "Oh, I see how it is. Listen, listen, we're gonna do this again, Gam Gams on Friday. Trust me when I tell you, I promise. This was an impromptu. You know how that goes." And
Gam Gams, my name is because of you, buddy.
listen, tomorrow, you mean Friday? It's Wednesday. We go Friday. We'll go Friday. Yes, it is Wednesday. Love you, Gam Gams, man. Friday, Gam Gams, I love you. I know you're at work and it's fucked up, bro. It was just an impromptu. It was just an impromptu. Earlier today, me and a coworker were talking about where we would take the franchise, and then when I get home, brother Chase was like, "Yo, I want to take the franchise here," and I was like, "Wait a minute, impromptu?" So you know how it goes. This is par for the course, Gam Gams. Par for the course. See you on Friday though. Yeah, no, dude, but I love that take of yours, bro. I do. Get rid of social media influencers, right? Like
yeah, that's dude, that's our message of the movie. We are mostly it's corporations. We're talking about getting rid of influencers.
Dude, seriously, and like I said, make it like a slasher movie where you have like the final girl, right? The one that's like she's into books, not the phone. She's a nerd. She's a paleo nerd, right? Like she's like, no, we shouldn't be here. I can't believe I got dragged into this. No, yes, you can. Because you love this guy, right? This guy with like 3 million followers who's on social media like, yo, what's up? Just landed on Island Sorna. We're about to go through this, bitch. Right? Being all obnoxious and stupid. And then he should be the last one to die. Oh, now, you know what? I'd kill him in the middle. Oh. They already did a slasher villain dinosaur. It's called the Indoraptor. Yes! Yes,
Dominus Rex was a pretty slasher-based dinosaur too.
We're talking about a slasher dinosaur movie.
We're talking about dinosaur bites an arm off and head, and there's blood and scares and screams.
We're talking about everybody in the movie getting their comeuppance by dinosaurs. That's the slasher.
Yeah.
I think. We can even steal the end of Friday the 13th Part 1. The final girl gets away, and then the mosasaur comes and eats her. Or, you know what? Fuck around. You know what? Not even the mosasaur, the fucking megalodon. Oh my god, people would go crazy. They lose their
shit. I was so bummed because I saw the megalodon jaws in like early production photos for Rebirth, and I totally thought there was going to be a megalodon, and then when they just showed the jaws, I was like, fuck. That's lame. Come on. I would love all this. See, the thing is, the video game, the Jurassic World Evolution games, they just added Megalodon to the game, recently. And it's like, obviously, they know that's a fan want. Come on, you dropped the ball here. I mean, I love the Mosasaurus too, but I would like to see a giant shark in the Jurassic World franchise. Come on, give it to us.
I hear it. Let's get to a comment real quick. Someone new here. I'm not going to butcher your last name, but Ajan, I hope I said that right. Ajan, I'm not going to try your last name. Appreciate the shout out, though. Hey, what do you think about Jurassic World Dominion? Okay. It's not the one I hate the most. I hate Fallen Kingdom the most, but Dominion is right there. It is my second least favorite Jurassic movie. Really don't like that movie, and maybe it's because of the giant crickets. I don't know, or maybe it's because Dr. Alan Grant becomes Super Spy James Bond. I just did not like it.
They all did, and that's my thing for hyping up, bringing back the classic, Golden Girls cast. Look. I really didn't like that direction. You know, I felt like it had such a cool idea, but it just ultimately felt flat. I'm also tired of Rexy being used as a dinosaur that dies and comes back to life. You know, I mean, unless they actually want to make that a thing where Rexy is the thing, I just don't like it when the T-Rex, a very aggressive, territorial animal, gets used as like a punching bag, when in reality, if it was real, would destroy what is in its way. And I just don't like that idea. And with Dominion Dominion had a lot of just, we don't know what to do with what we're given plot points, which has just become the crux of Jurassic, it seems. But Dominion to me was really, really disappointing on that. You dropped the ball with the main cast, and although I liked going back to an island, they should have not have executed it the way they did with how it resolved itself. I think it needed a little bit more of what it had, and like the Giganotosaurus or Gigantosaurus, however you want to call it, it needed a little bit more of a plot to it if it was being sold as the villain of the movie, and I just thought that was kind of poor. But I don't like Dominion that much. I still have not bought Dominion, which I need to because I have everything else. But yeah, it was just a big disappointment. I love the ideas. I love the themes of dinosaurs coexisting. I love the idea of, dinosaurs on the mainland. I really would have loved to seen that more. But it just was just a movie that just wasn't handled the best way. And and also, maybe I had to give it props because that was a movie that was filmed during COVID and they worked with what they got. But I just, I'm tired of using that as the excuse for these movies.
All right. Ajan got a couple more. I'm going to read this a little bit out of order because you know what? This is important here. I'm from Kosovo. That's why my name is Ajan, and I'm not going to say the last bit. But shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. I give you massive props for being here. I will say this one next. Read this one. Ajan says Dominion has over 40 dinosaurs. That could be true. I ain't mad at that. And then last but not least, Ajan, even though this was the first question, after the first question, second question. Hey, what do you like about Jurassic World Rebirth? Ajan, I'll tell you right now, what I liked about Jurassic World Rebirth was the trailer. Chase.
I liked the river raft scene. I mean, I liked a few of the characters. I liked the imagination of what it wanted to do, but again, just poor execution. But the river raft scene is my favorite scene in that whole movie. I think looking at it, I went to that movie just for that scene, and that's it.
All right, so I give you massive props, Chase, on the idea about going to the island again. Even though I did throw in the whole idea of them being, influencers, people who are trying to fucking, make a name for themselves. It works that way better than let's go out there as, paleontologists and scientists and study the dinosaurs. They've been around now for 40 years at this point, 50 years. If the timeline serves me correct, right?
Right. At this point, it's not paleontology anymore. At this point,
it's a new science.
Yeah, it's just researching animals that now exist.
Bro, you know what? That's the movie right there. What is the name of the science? All right,
the science is de-extinction.
You know what? Yeah. Or all right, what do you call it? Paleontology? Hammondology?
I like that.
Right?
I like that. Hammondology.
Hammondology. Ajan comes back. My favorite is the mosasaurs teaming up with the spinosaurs. I mean, it was cool, and the explanation it worked. The explanation makes sense in the movie. I totally get that. And I like the idea of these dinosaurs working together. It's just crazy because, in real life, you don't really see animals from different species working together, not like the way we saw it with the Mosasaur and the Spinosaurus. So I thought that was cool. But
And,
again,
and you know, that brings up the other point too. That means the Spinosauruses were out of their biome boundary too, if they were out that far.
absolutely. Jean comes back, dude. The Raptors got no love in this movie. No, but the flying Raptors did. And John comes back. My favorite dinosaur is the T-Rex and the Spino. Hey, you ain't getting no complaints from me here. Both those dinosaurs are awesome. I'm a Stegosaurus guy, but that's because, you know, those spikes remind me of Godzilla. I don't know. I was a kid a long time ago.
I love T-Rex and Spinosaurus too. I just wish the Spinosaurus we got after more than a decade of wanting it back was actually the Spinosaurus we had in Jurassic Park 3.
No, because then you would have heard it coming. The phone would have went off.
Oh yeah, under the water too.
Bro, it's still this so good. Oh man, I remember seeing that. Bro, my butt clenched. I said, "Oh no." See that's the type of fear I want back, right? Like that tension, that oh shit, this thing is coming to get us. I'll never forget when they were promoting that movie and the way they were all in with the Spinosaurus. And you know what? Yeah, when you watch that movie, think about it, bro. If I'm not mistaken, that Spinosaurus was like the last practical effect for a dinosaur in these Jurassic.
Yeah, it was bigger than the T-Rex one.
Huge, bro. Huge.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was as big or bigger than the prop used for Godzilla 98.
Dude, that prop in '98 was massive, though.
Yeah, that's something.
I think '98 got that beat. Yeah,
we'll talk about that one day. As Jean comes back, dude. I make a Jurassic World movie. I will make your wishes come true, brother. Join the Discord. Let's talk, okay? Join the Discord. It's in the description. Let's have a chat. I like where you're at, but let me give you before we sign off because I'm gonna have to sign off soon. Let me give you my radical idea, okay?
All right.
The one that is so off topic. I mean, it is so far this way. It would be genius if it was made. Ready for this? The dinosaurs are going to the equator, right? They're attracted to it. It is where they need to survive. You know why? Y'all gonna get mad at me. But again, this is the radical one. Because the reptilians live underground in the equator and they come up with this idea. Oh, they brought dinosaurs back. So now they're kind of not mind controlling the dinosaurs, no, but they're sending out a pulse like a homing beacon, Godzilla 84 style, right? Like, let's put this thing that attracts their bird brains. They're going to go to it. And then what happens is we get War of the Worlds, but with dinosaurs, right? And by worlds, I mean the subterranean world and us, the reptilians are riding dinosaurs. This is where our first theory comes in. And now the reptilians, they've got a shit ton of fucking science at their disposal. They're dino riders, bro. They've got mechs on top of these dinosaurs. They're controlling them. They're riding into battle. And there's only one way we can defeat them. We gotta build mechs of our own. We gotta bullets ain't working. Bullets ain't working. These reptilians got bulletproof skin. They don't even have to wear a vest. They're so good at adapting, and they got the dinosaurs on their side. It's a straight up, it's fucking Pacific Rim scaled down with dinosaurs. That's crazy.
The fucking Illuminati is real. The lizard people.
Totally do it, bro. That you go that fucking far. You just say, fuck it. All right, you know what? Where do we go? Let's take it all the way. Because then not only do you get your proposed dinosaur hybrid shit that they wanted to do since, Jurassic Park 3 in the form of a reptilian, a subterranean species. I gotta take it. This is the life. Chase, take it away.
Oh, man. And I I like that idea. Maybe just not as a Jurassic idea. I think with Primitive War coming out, I'm curious to see what more dinosaur movies we get. I thought it would be. I saw an image the other day of a Viking warrior on top of a velociraptor with like armor and chainmail and stuff, and I'm like, that sounds really cool. Let's get like a movie where it's like Lord of the Rings, but with people on top of dinosaurs. And I'm like, I'm stoked on that idea. I just think that would be really cool. It'd be a fun popcorn flick. The idea for me with when Steven Spielberg wanted to do Jurassic Park 4 and do human dinosaurs, I didn't really like that idea. I don't like human dinosaurs. I think it would be interesting if we explored that. I know Macy Lockwood is essentially it. She is a human clone. She's the first human clone. I mean, if you want to go there and explore dinosaurs, let's say there was a company darker than InGen or maybe InGen we just go there and InGen's dark and they're really, shady. Let's, what if we do have people that we're experimenting on to see, what we could do? And it would be interesting to see, but I don't know. I've never really jumped on that idea as something that I really, really liked, just because I want dinosaurs to be the focus and not have elements of people and dinosaur DNA. I didn't necessarily like Macy Lockwood being put into the film. I thought I felt like that was a very kind of like risky thing, and also just really we didn't really need that because she just really doesn't go anywhere other than just Owen and Claire take care of her, and that's like it's not like she could it's not like she can communicate with the dinosaurs, which would be kind of cool, but yet again she's not made of dinosaur DNA necessarily. She's just a clone of a human. And that's also very interesting that they went there, because then again, it's like, then why didn't they clone John Hammond? Why didn't they why didn't they clone other people? What's the, there's so many things they present that just totally don't go anywhere or have any point to them. It would have made sense if they said that Macy had some dinosaur DNA in her DNA and she could communicate with dinosaurs. I thought that would be cool. That's the only way I thought would be interesting, having her character. But, I don't know how I feel about the idea of human dinosaur hybrids, but maybe in a different movie. But like I said, I like the idea of people on top of dinosaurs fighting other warriors on top of other dinosaurs. I think that would be cool. We need like a Lord of the Rings movie with dinosaurs, but just dinosaurs and war and fun stuff, fun popcorn flick. We don't need no Hobbit taking a ring to Mount Doom, though, but dinosaurs and like Dino Riders, something like that. There's some cool ideas I think that could happen.
That's what I mean. It's like it's not a dinosaur human hybrid thing that they were trying to do. It is straight up reptilians from the underground, from the subterranean world,
like from the fucking the lizard people from the Land of the Lost.
Exactly, the sea slacks. Exactly that. You guys know. And they get the dinosaurs and they wage war on humanity,
dude,
for the fate of the earth.
Okay, you know what? Fuck the Will Ferrell Land of the Lost movie. Let's reboot Land of the Lost and just do that. They get stuck in the island or the lands, and there's like political downfall with the sea slags and something else, and there you go. They control the dinosaurs.
Jurassic World, Land of the Lost. That's the crossover, maybe.
That would be. Hey, that's actually a catchy title.
It actually is. Now that I think about it, it's like the Lost World. Because here's the thing, too. Good God, Yo, I blew the load. This was all supposed to be saved for Friday, but I'll just regurgitate. But dude, think about it. If Rebirth was Jurassic Park 3's remake, then the next one should be the Lost Worlds remake. And could you imagine if it was called Land of the Lost?
I would dig that.
Jurassic World, Land of the Lost. You've got Lost and World in a Jurassic movie. It works. And then remake Jurassic Park 1 for the fucking third movie and blow the islands up. Blow it up. Because, oh my God. That's it. I just solved the issue. I just did it. If this Rebirth is Jurassic Park 3, then you do Land of the Lost, right? For the second one. The only way to stop this threat is to blow the island up. In the novel, the first book, Michael Crichton, what did
when they use napalm?
They blew the island up. That's it. That is it. That is full circle. And if Cousin Gareth is looking at it in that regard, then I'm all for it. But
nah, he's looking at it. How do I stretch this out for a couple more movies?
Listen, trilogies. That's how they come in. That's how they go. Trilogies.
Yeah.
This shit is not James Bond. This shit is definitely not Mission Impossible. So
it's not Transformers.
Oh my God.
It's gonna end up being Jurassic World Abort. Abort the fetus embryo. I'm
telling you right now, you know what's gonna happen. Do the trilogy that way. Seriously. Do the trilogy that way. That second movie sets up the reptilian. It doesn't have to be the reptilians, but I'm just saying that would be fucking crazy as fuck. Because then you could get you the hybrid look, right? Without
right.
Hybrid. It's just that's evolution, right? And we can't beat them. The only way we can beat them is to nuke them. Then we nuke them.
And it's funny you bring that up because I don't love the Netflix cartoon Camp Cretaceous. I don't think it's perfect. I watch it just because it's part of that franchise. But they are this last season, were exploring themes that I did not ever expect they would go. And they are like, for one, they actually did have a dinosaur that was completely blind, had no eyes at all, but yet it could hear you wherever you were. It could smell you wherever you were, and it communicate. You could communicate with it and control it. And there was so many other. They're just exploring. They're going to places that I'm like, ooh, like it makes it seem like they're trying to expand. How do we get past Henry Wu's arc, BD Wong's arc, and how do we change this to really explore Jurassic World as a whole? And I like that because they're coming up with some pretty fucking freaky ideas, man. And I'm curious to see what that could ultimately stem to.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm gonna get to the comments real quick because I got one final thought where we could go after this trilogy into the future. So let's do this real quick. All right. Jean said, I was drawing ideas for my Jurassic movie, and apparently Jean is very young. Listen, I don't know if you want to stick around. I'm not going to turn nobody away, but we are very adult-oriented here. But you can hang out. I got no problem with that. Jean says, dude, there was a scene where the Velociraptor were on the bikes chasing the humans. You see it, it's stuff like that. Right? That's crazy. My God. Jean comes back. I like your ideas, but I think that would be changed. Oh, absolutely. And we're just spitballing here. Make no mistake about it. This is just what we would like to see in these movies, right? Like, we have no pull in any which way, shape, or form. We just like to do this for fun. And then Yes, we are reading the comments. It was Chaos Theory or Camp Cretaceous. And I guess that's what in reference to what Chase was talking about with the blind dinosaur.
Right.
So, last but not least, this is where we end the Jurassic saga.
That meteor is coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't do meteor, but it is something coming from space.
Godzilla.
We listen, or Earth, because of the nuclear war between the Sleezaks and the humans, we had to create life off the planet. Space stations were in the far future. It's working, but we've got dino DNA, and what do we do with dino DNA? Let's make a zoo. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get Dino Crisis. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You want to go there? Let's go there. I'm just saying.
Tyrannosaurus Space Rex.
Oh my God. Oh, it would be so. See, the Doofosaurus Rex would work way better in space.
Yeah, especially with it being a nod to a xenomorph.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh no, what happened was we had some kind of distortion in its gravitational field, and it was trying to form, it got deformed, so that's why it looks like that. It's got 4 arms. Why has it got 4 arms? I don't know.
Yeah, part of it was so big it broke one of the windows, and that's why its head got all inflated because it got sucked out of the window for a little bit.
Oh, why has it got 4 arms?
It's stretched skin.
It was, you see, what happened was the embryo was a twin. Then everything went all crazy and haywire. The embryos kind of came together, but it didn't come together the way we wanted to. And now we got basket case dinosaurs. Basket case. That's a deep cut. Oh, man, listen, I tell you right now, I would be all in.
I appreciate this conversation because, like I said, I've been pondering for days, and every time a Jurassic movie comes out, I question, where do we go? And I'm so glad that we talked, because the more I talk and the more we discuss, I really don't think Jurassic's going to be that hard after all to find a plot point. It's just going to take some brainstorming, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, there's so many avenues you can go down. You just have to pull on certain threads that this movie set up. And
yes, yeah.
Because I don't like the idea of, we'll just go back to the island. For what reason? Do you got?
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking too. Like, realistically, where they go next is like, how? What are they going to do? What's going to be the driving force of getting them back on St. Hubert? And I just don't see it. Yeah. Okay, they have the dinosaur blood samples. Well, spoiler. You know where I'm going. It's like, how? Okay, where do we go? You
know what? Oh, save that for Friday. I see where you're going. Yeah,
I had to stop myself.
Let's give it to everybody, but not everybody is altruistic. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do.
No, I know. Yeah.
They're gonna find a way to make life find a way. But I'm gonna find my way to the stop button. That'll do it for this impromptu live stream of what we would do with the Jurassic World franchise going forward. Just want to real quick give my man John one more props real quick. Hey, 2046, I think, will be the end of the Jurassic saga, but I would love to make a Jurassic movie. Well, listen, if you're really as young as you claim to be, you got all the time in the world. Get it together, make your movie, okay? I want to be there to watch it. I'm sure Brother Chase will want to be there to watch it too. But make it happen.
Damn straight.
And again, if you are as old as you are, hey, language, get used to it. Get used to it. But that'll do it for this episode. Brother Chase, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you. I was kind of glad I wasn't going to sit on what I had in my head till Friday.
I love it. I love it. John, you have a good night, all right? And that'll do it for this episode of this impromptu episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1, and we are out of here till Friday live stream, baby. Peace.